Over the past few weeks, we have seen weakness in Apple, stock code AAPL. Until recently, it was the most valuable company in the world until it lost its crown to Microsoft. And people are fearing that it may even slip into third place if Nvidia's price keeps on pushing up. So where are we right now for Apple? Could there actually still be more upside? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier advisor, trader in Philip Securities. And in this video, we're talking about Apple, right? Before looking at its charts and its potential, or where we could potentially see some upside rebound, what are some new support levels that have came out. We want to dive into the news that have came out for Apple over the past few weeks, right? What is the news that's coming out? Why are we seeing weakness before we dive into where we are and if you could actually position yourselves to ride even more upside. So if you want to know what is Apple doing right now, AAPL, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. And if you like this video, guys, go ahead and give me a like and smash the subscribe button as well. Hit the follow button so that it will definitely help out the channel and you will not miss out on videos like this. So let's dive into the news right now for Apple. So just 2 days back, Apple has announced that it is cancelling its plans to build an electric car, all right, an EV, right? So basically what happens is that Apple will wind down its team working on electric cars, and this pretty much signals an end to Apple's secretive effort to build a car to rival Tesla. And when they first talked about this was about 10 years back. So this could be the reason why we are seeing weakness in Apple stock, because when they mentioned about electric vehicle more than 10 years back, it was like a huge, massive potential, a huge new sector that they want to go into, and there was a lot of hype about it. And right now, you can see right over here, this news signals an end to Apple's secretive efforts to build a car to rival Tesla. And this program kind of like employed thousands of employees, but they never kind of really fit into like Apple's core businesses of electronics, online services, the MacBook, iPhones and all that. And it kind of like raised questions about where Apple would turn for the manufacturing of an electric car. So this project on electric car was part of an internal effort to look for technologies which the company could develop with huge potential markets. So they wanted to seek out new markets, new products, go into new market segment, but unfortunately it did not turn out well and they decided to call it quits. But what happens is that Apple continues to develop health technologies. We have the Apple Watch, which some of you might have as well. And just last month, the company has released its first virtual reality headset called the Vision Pro, which has received some pretty good reviews as well. And just yesterday, Apple's CEO Tim Cook says that the company is investing significantly into generative AI. One of the strongest signals yet that the iPhone maker is embracing the generative AI craze that has pretty much consumed the entire tech industry. So the company itself sees incredible breakthrough for potential for generative AI, which is why they are investing heavily in this sector. Apple, it hasn't really unveiled any competing products to model, OpenAI, ChatGPT and all that, but it has teased a major announcement coming this year, all right? So what it says is that later this year, I look forward to sharing with you the ways we will break new ground in generative AI, another technology we believe can redefine the future. So it seems like an announcement is going to come, all right, by the end of the year, whereby it is something to do with AI that could kind of like change the way, in terms of how Apple grow in the future as well. So that was some of the news on Apple that perhaps could have led to some weakness, all right? So enough of the news, let's dive into the charts right now for Apple to see where we are, all right? And if this weakness we have seen over the past 1 to 2 weeks, could it actually be an opportunity to get in on dips, to get in a discount, all right, to ride even more upside? So let's dive into the charts right now. So you can see that this is Apple trading at about $181, $182 right now. So before I talk about where we were, let me just go back about 1 year to see where we were previously. So you can see that since 2022, Apple has been a bit of a downtrend. We were pretty much heading to this high about 180, 180, and we formed what we call lower highs along the way. So a bit of a downtrend when the market sold off, when there were talks about rate hikes and inflationary pressures since 2022. But somewhere around here, let me just go to draw this downward sloping, I would say, channel resistance line connecting the high. You can see somewhere over here. Yeah, so this was pretty much a downward sloping channel resistance forming lower highs, and we kind of broke above, all right, I would say since March last year, above this red line, this channel resistance. So that could kind of like signal a change in trend in terms of down to up. And yes, Apple has indeed pushed higher, and you can see that a few months later, let me just remove this red line. A few months later, we have seen in terms of a crossover, a bullish crossover of the 100 days moving average and also the 200 days moving average. So that was a sign of a more confirmation of the trend reversal from down to up, and Apple has since pushed even higher, right? So right now, right, what we could do is that we could draw an upward sloping, I would say, channel support line, because as it's turned into an uptrend, we are kind of like forming what we call higher low. So this was the low we have seen beginning of last year. You can see the low kind of got higher and higher, and right now it has got a little bit higher as well. So let's dive into where we are. So we are in an uptrend right now for Apple, I would say, over the longer term, both just by looking at what we call the moving averages. The red and the blue line, 100 days, is still above the 200 days moving average, and also just by looking at what we call the higher lows over the past 1 over year. So let's go ahead to draw what we call some horizontal support and resistance to see what are some of the support levels that have came out over the past 1 to 2 months. So let me just remove all these lines right now and draw a very, very critical line right over here. So I think this line would be the $200. You can see $200 is a very critical psychological resistance level. You definitely want to watch it, all right, this level, because that is where we have touched about one time in July. You can see we sold all the way down and we came all the way back up in December last year. Same thing, we saw a couple of bearish candles and we started to sell down as well. So 200 is a psychological resistance level. If we do hit back there again, I would say that that's where some heavy profit taking can come back again. So you could potentially lock in some profits there, take partial profits, because that's where some selling can happen. All right, the next thing would be the support level. I would say that we have found a bit of a support level. So the support level used to be around like $165 to $170. So right over here, it used to be like about $165 to $170 whereby we rebounded from. That was in October, but it seems like the support have gone a little bit higher to somewhere around the $180. So over the past 3 to 4 months since November, it seems like we have found this support at 180. All right, buyers came back and rebounded the bullish candle here, and over the past 1-2 weeks, same thing, we are just hovering above the 180 level. So today is like 181, 182, is still above the 180. So I think if you can stay above the 180 level, that is a good thing. In the short term, it still looks okay, but you want to take note of this. So as I mentioned just now, the longer term trend for Apple still looks good. I mean, we have formed higher lows. The moving averages, as I mentioned, is pretty much an uptrend right now. Red above the blue. This red line, 100 days moving average, is still above the 200 days moving average blue line. But in terms of the short-term trend, well, even though we are holding above this $180, whereby we are seeing some bargain hunting coming back, well, you want to take note that the short-term trend, we can take a look at what we call the 20 days moving average. So this 20 days moving average kind of gives an idea of the short-term trend. You can see it was pretty much flat over here. That was in October, November. So it was like kind of consolidating. And when we broke above the 180, which pretty much the resistance turned to support right now, we went all the way to 200 and we came back down. So as it broke the 180 previously, you could see that the 20 days moving average, this green line, actually started to turn up. All right, so this short-term trend actually started to point up, and that led the reversal all the way to 200. So over the past 1 over month, you could see that the 20 days moving average, right, this green line. So let me just zoom it in for you. You can see that this green line right now, it was like up, and when we hit 200, there was some resistance, it started to point down, flat, and right now this 20 days moving average line, it is still kind of like pointing down, right? Even though we have found support in terms of horizontal price support at 180, right? So I would say that, if you can wait for like the 20 days moving average line to flatten out, to stabilize, maybe move sideways a little bit and even start to point up like what we saw over here, well, that could kind of lead the reversal all the way back up to that 200 psychological resistance level. Does it make sense? So that's how we kind of like tell the short-term trend. So even though it's headed to a support level, sometimes you want to see some bullish reversal candles there, or maybe the short-term trend in terms of the moving average, the 20 days moving average turning up as well. All that could point to more strength. All that could point to the reversal starting to come back out, and that's where we could see that rebound back up, right? So this is Apple. I would say that it still looks quite good longer term trend, but of course in the short term we are indeed seeing some weakness, which is normal. I mean, it cannot just go up every single day. All right, in the short term you can see some volatility going to resistance, coming back to support, and might start to rebound. But the key here is to wait for at least the short term trend to start turning up before timing your entry to get in to ride the rebound. So that's why there could be an opportunity to get in on dips right now due to this short-term weakness that we've seen over the past 2 to 3 weeks, right? So let's dive into maybe the system that I have. I have a web-based software called 1GT system, whereby it kind of like alerts us to companies like this and also guides us on entry and exit. So let's see what are some of the signals that came out for Apple, all right, and if there are any bullish or maybe bearish signals that could guide us. So this is Apple, right, AAPL on my 1GT system. And if you want to find out a little bit more, guys, on this system, or maybe even the framework or the strategy behind it, you can attend one of those free webinars that I'm still running. All right, the link is right below. All right, and that's where we'll share a little bit more. But right now, you can see that for Apple, I'll not go too far. But since last year for Apple, in fact, in 2022, November, December, some bearish candles actually sold off. But as we began 2023, all right, the trend turned from red to green, and we had a couple of bullish signals coming out. So these are like green arrows pointing up, bullish entry, bullish entry. It started to go up, all the way from like about 130 to like 200, as I mentioned. And we started to consolidate, right, a little bit sideways. There was some profit taking, and it's pretty much from 180 to 200 right now, as I mentioned. So as we hit it to like near 200, there were a couple of bearish candles. You can see sold off as the bearish candles came out. And let's just zoom into where we are. All right, right now, that was in like November. Pretty good rally. We got a bullish signal, went all the way up, exit, came back down. So right now, we don't have any signals coming out. You can see that the most recent bullish signal was in January, went all the way up, got an exit, and there are no bullish signals as of now, right? So you can wait. I mean, for us, what we do is that we can wait for a bullish entry signal to come in, right? And that's where it means that some buying pressure, some heavy buying pressure is coming back, and that could guide us on an entry. So you can see right now, as I mentioned, we are back at a 180 support level. There are no bullish signals, but if it does come out, if you do see, as I say, the 20 days moving average stabilizing, pointing up, or maybe a bullish candles, well, that bullish signal could come out. It could guide us to get in again to ride the reversal all the way to 200. Of course, and if we do near 200 again, then of course we might see an exit signal. Well, that could mean that some profit taking or some selling is coming back. It could also guide us to get up as well. All right, so this is what it says on my 1GT system. So you find out a little bit more on this system, click on the link below. I'll just place the link below this video. All right, register for a free webinar where I'll share with you a little bit more on the strategy behind and perhaps how you could have a system like this to not only alert you on winners like this, but also guide you on entry and exit. So there we have it, guys. This is Apple right here. I hope you have a clearer idea of where we are right now for Apple and also the news. All right, just a very quick news update on what has happened for Apple over the past few weeks. All right, so if you like this video, let's go ahead to give me a like, smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button as well, so that you will not miss out on videos like this. And thank you so much for doing this. It will definitely help out the channel, right? So Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video. Click on the link below if you have not registered for a free webinar. The link's right below the video. I look forward to share with you a little bit more in this free webinar.